So in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about perimeter fencing. I know it's not a very sexy topic. In fact, it's something that I've been dreading to tackle on our homestead here, but it's super important. And, right off the bat, we rotate all of our livestock, most of our livestock regularly. Like the calves here behind me, they are rotated every single day, moved to a fresh paddock using temporary fencing. We practice this whole management intensive grazing to improve the soil and, to get the best quality meat possible. But with all of our temporary fencing here, it's still important to have proper and secure perimeter fencing, because there's probably nothing worse than getting a call from the police that your cow's on the road, or a call from the neighbor that your pig destroyed their vegetable garden. Not a call you want to get. And so perimeter fencing is important. Now, we were lucky enough when we purchased this property 3 years ago. We only moved here last year, that it was fenced in on 3 sides already. So we'd woven wire with an extra, I think actually 2 strands of barbed wire on top. So solid perimeter fencing on 3 sides. Only in our north side, it was all the way open to our neighbor. Now the neighbor is not here yet, they don't live here yet, so it was less problematic. But the reason why I kept dragging my feet on putting in that final leg of the fence was because I figured it would be expensive and time consuming, and I don't really have the time or the resources, to do it right now. But then, as part of our venture into rotational grazing and buying a whole lot of equipment from Gallagher, step-in posts, the reels, the Energizer and all of those things, I figured they have the temporary fencing, they have the permanent fencing, but they also have semi-permanent fencing options that are significantly less expensive and super quick to put in. And so we reached out to Gallagher and we decided to team up with them, and they sent us a bunch of equipment that allows us to, in the first step, close that north side of our property with a semi-permanent fencing, high tensile wire, 2 strands of hot wire that will not only prevent animals from getting to the other side, but also allowing us to hook into either of those 2 strands to energize our temporary fencing. And the ultimate goal is then to run the same hot wire all across our property, so we can hook into anywhere, regardless, because we have different grazing paddocks or grazing areas, I want to say, that are then subdivided into different paddocks. And so I want to be able to hook into the electric wire anywhere without having to, move our Energizer around, which is what I'm doing right now. We have 2 S80 solar powered Energizer from Gallagher, and the one I'm using for the calves here, every time I move them from one area, so right now they are here, then they're gonna go over there, and then finally over there, and they kind of keep rotating here every 45 to 60 days or so. They are back to the same area, and so I have to dig out the grounding rod and move everything over and hook it up again. Not a huge deal, but an inconvenience nonetheless. And so in this video, I want to show you some of the equipment that will enable us to close up that north side of our property with a semi-permanent fencing. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of an unboxing so you can see what's in there, what's involved to make this happen, and talk a little bit about our future expansion plans as well. So let's go up to where I have all the stuff, and I'll show you what we got. And one quick note, because the high tensile wire, one could argue it's not a true permanent kind of perimeter fencing. It's not like woven wire or anything. But here is the thing, it's good enough for what we need. And second of all, if you're working with the USDA on any grants or whatever, they typically require you to have a perimeter fence. Like we are currently working with the USDA, so they can help us fund some of the things that we want to do. And as far as they're concerned, 1 strand of hot wire is enough to count as a perimeter fence. So again, from that perspective also, it's considered a perimeter fence, and certainly good enough for what we are trying to accomplish here. But if you have sheep or what have you, those 2 strands might not be enough to hold them in, but our cattle for sure, for them it's gonna be good enough. And so one of the things that let's maybe start with posts, because those are the meat of this whole thing here. And they are fairly lightweight, insulated, semi-permanent posts that you can drive into the ground and then use different sections where you want to attach the insulating clip and then the wire. They are super lightweight. I really like this. This is a set of, let's see, 10 posts, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yep, 10 posts. That's lighter than maybe 3 or 4 of the regular T-posts, which is what I would have used otherwise. I figured I'm going to use T-posts to run our high tensile wire. And then I came across those insulated line posts. They are so much better, lightweight, and easier to work with. I really like them. So that's number one that I didn't even know existed. Now I do, and I absolutely love those guys. Then we have the ground rods for permanent or on-grid Energizer I'm going to show you. So we're not going to use solar for this particular setup. We still have the S80 solar Energizers, but we decided we're going to install one wired Energizer in our shed here for a couple of reasons. Number one is we have power in the shed, but number two, maybe more importantly, is it is right next to our perimeter fence. And so what we can actually do then is, because this is the east side, we can run one hot wire on top of the existing perimeter fence and go all the way down to the north side, where we then gonna continue with the high tensile wire. So that was the reason why we decided we're gonna keep it all in there. It all makes a whole lot of sense, and we don't have to worry about having a place with sun exposure and all of those things, and we can just have a permanent setup. I might hook it up to a uninterruptible power supply or whatever in case we have a power outage, so that everything remains energized. Worst case scenario, I could just bring one of my S80s up there and hook it up here and then power, that perimeter fence with the S80. That might be possible as well. But those are the grounding rods. We're gonna use it a grounding kit rather. It has the rods and some wire and clamps because it's incredibly important to hook up the Energizer to grounding rods. The funny thing is, I shouldn't even be saying this, but a couple of years ago when we began homesteading with chickens, we don't have farming backgrounds or anything. I used to be in software security. I used to deal with roles and authorizations and not with, moving cattle every day. And so a lot of what we've learned was over the past few years was entirely new to us. But when we got our first Energizer to keep our chickens protected at our old property, I didn't use a grounding rod. I just hooked up, it was a little battery powered unit, and I just clipped it onto the fence, and I was wondering why I don't get a good spark. Never realizing that, without a proper grounding, the electrons, as you get shocked, need to be replenished from somewhere, and that is the ground. Without the ground, you're not gonna complete the circuit and it's not gonna work. I did not know this. Now I do know, and so now we have actually 3 grounding rods, especially if you have a wired up or permanently installed. Sorry, FedEx coming. Grounding rods are important because without a ground, you're not going to get a spark, and it's better to have more than one spaced out a little bit so you can really get enough of the ground if you need, and that's especially important if your ground is maybe dry and conductivity is less. So we have 3 of those, and then the second most important aspect is the wire. And I figured I'm just gonna put this on my shoulder and roll it out. But when I picked it up, I realized this stuff is heavy. And by heavy, I mean really heavy. I can deadlift over 500 pounds, but I would not want to just walk with that 1,500 feet and stretch out that wire. For that, we actually have a contraption called a spin out. I don't even know what it's called. We're gonna look at that, but it's a contraption basically where you can put this on, put it on the back of a side-by-side maybe or UTV, and then just run it out, and it spins out the wire instead of you having to haul this, because as I said, this is heavy. And we have 2 of those, so that's 4,000 feet. We have 8,000 feet worth of wire, and that should be plenty enough to run 2 strands one strand from here, from the shed where the Energizer is gonna be, to the north end of the property, and then with 2 wires across as our perimeter. So that's part 1. Part 2 is in the other shed. Looks exactly the same, but it's a different one. And the one over there has all of our homesteading equipment. And I don't know why the Guinea is so loud. Look at that. What's up, Guinea? You're seeing your own reflection. That's why Guinea got her mate killed, unfortunately, a while ago. Now he is alone. It's actually a rooster. And we're getting 10 more Guineas here in a couple of weeks. But until then, that Guinea rooster is by itself. And I think he's suffering a little bit. He's turning cuckoo. He is sitting in front of the car, looking at reflections here at the front of the door, looking at the reflection in the glass, talking to himself and wondering why he doesn't get the interaction that he is expecting. Maybe, I don't know. Anywho. Here's our homesteading stuff, and I'm gonna bring it a little bit closer here, and we're gonna look at all of the other goodies that we got from our friends at Gallagher. And this guy is the Payout spinner, that's what it's called. Whoop. So you can put all of that wire, that whole thing on here, and then this guy turns as you spin it out. I have not used something like this in the past, honestly. I have to look it up exactly how it works. But this is at least the basic idea, that we can put it on the back of our UTV and roll it out instead of me having to drag it, which would be an absolute pain in the butt. And this is all the other thing. That's all that's needed, really, to finish up that north side of and we have, I think I mentioned it before, maybe 1,500 feet or so of property line on the north side. We have 45 acres in total. And so here's the Energizer that we're gonna use. It's the M160. It's super tiny. I somehow expected this thing to be more massive, but this is super small. This doesn't take up a lot of space. In fact, if you take it out of the box, there's nothing. But this is more powerful than the solar one that we have, and pretty straightforward to use. Grounding, hot, plug it in, that is it, nothing to it. So we're gonna set this up in our shed, gonna wall mount it, and then come out from here. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the double insulated heart cable. So we're gonna use this to come out of the Energizer and go to the fence, and then anytime we have to go underground, because as I said, the second milestone of this this whole project is to run a hot wire all around the property. And we have 3 gates that, we cannot obviously run the hot wire across. So we're gonna go underground, and we're gonna do this with this double insulated hard cable. So we're just gonna run it underground and then come out on the other side. And so this is another piece of the puzzle. Let's see what else we got here. We have the wood and T-post pin lock insulators, so you can just either screw them to a wooden post or clip them on a T-post and then just run the hot wire along it. So we're gonna use 2 on the north side on each post, one a little bit higher, one a little bit lower. So the idea is that we can contain calves as well, so that the calves don't run off if they ever get out of their temporary fencing, which hopefully is not going to be the case. But to be honest, there were a couple of cases where either a deer or something ran into the temporary fencing and it was touching the ground, grounded out basically. And then in one case I forgot to turn it on after turning it off after moving the cows. I forgot to turn it back on. That's why I think Joel Saladin said always test your fence every single day to make sure it's hot and has a spark. Great advice. I can only agree with that. So insulators. What else we got? We got an in-wire tightener. So that's useful if you need to tighten up the wire a little bit along the way. So not on either end, but really somewhere in the middle. You can use these guys. You can just, thread the wire through it and then turn it to tighten everything nicely. That's a box of 5. I think these are all the same. Those are insulated line post clips, just a couple of bags of those. They're really heavy duty with a 10-year warranty, so they should last you for a very long time. And they work for all wires up to 8 millimeters thick, or 0 gauge, that is. And each bag has 20, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 100 of those. We have a lightning diverter. That's also not unimportant. You want to protect your equipment in case of a lightning strike. So this guy can do that. It's a very small type of device. Let's see if I can get it out. I've also never used one of those. Obviously we have, whole house surge protectors and all in our home, but for electric fencing, this is what it is. With the 2 contact screws down here. Fairly straightforward. So that, what else we got? We got cutout switches. So that makes it easy to turn off sections of the fence. That's always a good idea. You don't necessarily need to have everything energized all the time, or if you want to do some maintenance, you don't want to have to turn everything off and then potentially risk animals getting out while you're doing maintenance, especially if you have smarty pants like our pigs that, seem to be testing the fence every single day. Even push the piglets towards the fence so the piglets can test if the fence is on. So good thing to not turn everything off. And then last but not least, we have a fence voltmeter. So you can check if you have a spark. That's important. As I mentioned before, you want to do this ideally every day. There you go. Shows it right on the display what you're dealing with. If you get a good enough spark for what you need. And that is it. That is all the equipment we need to complete our 1500 feet north line of our property. Compared to doing this all with, woven wire and wooden posts or even T-posts, it's, I want to say, significantly less expensive and also quicker to put in, because I'm going to be the one putting all that stuff in. It's going to be me, myself and Irene, so only me. And I don't really want to spend days, digging holes and stuff. I did get an auger because there's going to be probably a few areas where I'm going to use a wooden post. One is I want to have a gate on the north side in case, we need to cross over to the neighbor or vice versa. So I'm going to put a gate in there, and that's going to require probably 4 T-posts and like an H-brace kind of setup. On either side, on the east and on the west side, depending on where the property line goes, if that ends at a wooden post or a T-post, I might put in a wooden post there as well. So I got myself an auger that I can dig the holes so I don't have to do it by hand. The rest, I'm just going to use probably one of those T-post drivers to get those semi-permanent fiberglass posts in. And that's it. If you want to, see how all of this turns out, subscribe to the channel. It's going to be super interesting. I'm super excited. We're going to be doing this across over the next couple of weeks here. Here is actually a perimeter fence. So you can see woven wire and 2 strands of barbed wire on top. And we're going to run the hot wire on top of there. So whatever sticks out here, we're going to put in one of those clips and run the hot wire all along the fence line. For that, obviously, we need to trim some of those bushes here. So we're going to do that before, likely. And then we're going to hook everything up. And I'm super excited about this. Again, stay tuned, subscribe so you can see how all of this turns out. There's going to be a time, probably later this year, when we're going to have hot wire all across the property. We're going to be able to hook in everywhere. I'm super excited about that. It's going to make our rotation grazing effort so much easier, because at the end of the day, management intensive grazing, moving a cattle every day is a lot of work, and the less time you need to spend, the more time you have to spend on something else, like doing nothing or taking care of the other animals. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. Hope you like this video. Hope you like this unboxing. See you in the next one. Thanks Gallagher for sending over all of those goodies. I really appreciate it, and we're going to put it to good use.